Presumably you've made it to February 2nd, you're still doing your workouts, but they're starting to stall out a little bit. And what a lot of people tend to do when they want to get into fitness, they start with doing cardio for long, slow distances. Well, LSD sucks. I said it. Long, slow distance cardio is something that's very easy to understand. And I was having a conversation with one of my clients about how weight training volume changes over time and how it's very easy to change the volume. And something that kind of stuck out to me was we never think about how volume changes in cardio. So when you're doing cardio or when you're doing any sort of like long, slow distance work, one of the things that happens is you're going to take a certain number of steps over a certain amount of time. So for this example, we're going to use 1,000 steps and it takes you 30 minutes. If you're doing 1,000 steps in 30 minutes, we have bigger problems. We have a lot more to focus on there. But what ends up happening is you decided that you want to get on the treadmill and you're going to walk for 30 minutes. And that's what you're going to do. You set that speed to whatever the speed is. Let's just call it a 3. You're going to get on that treadmill. You're going to walk at that speed for the next 2 months. What ends up happening inevitably is where you are right now. Your body weight has stopped dropping. Your body composition has stopped changing. You're probably not doing any weights because at some point in the 1970s, you read an article about how cardio is great for weight loss, and you've never changed your mindset about that one concept, despite the fact that you've bought 12 iPhones in the past 12 years. So there's lots of things that you could do to change what's happening with your cardio. The easiest one is to walk faster. So think about if you take that same 30-minute time that you have allocated to do your workouts, and you try and do 2,000 steps. I'm really just throwing out arbitrary numbers. Let's just call it a mile. Why not? If you were to do 1 mile in 30 minutes to begin with, and then you do 2 miles in 30 minutes, you've doubled the work that you're doing, which means you're gonna get closer to your goals faster. Now I know what you're thinking, well, if I go too fast, I'm gonna start burning more carbs. Whenever you're doing cardio, you're burning carbs and you're burning fat. You have to burn some sugar. When you first started exercising, you were probably burning more sugar than you currently are, which is one of the things that helped your body fat trend down. I know what you're saying. I don't want to burn sugar, I want to burn fat. Well, unfortunately, when your blood glucose is off, at the beginning of most people's fitness journey, fasting glucose has the potential to be off. And since it's off, and you started exercising, and you were burning a shit ton of sugar when you started, it led you to where you are. So burning some sugar during your workouts isn't bad. And if you guys are interested, let me know, and I will do a whole video on why burning sugar during cardio is actually really important for you, just as much as burning fat. So as we look to improve the efficiency of our time doing cardio, or the efficiency and effectiveness of what you're doing, you have 2 options. You technically have more, but we have 2 options. We can change the speed, we can change the time. And the reason why I narrowed it down to these 2 is if you are doing like a stair climber, you can't change the incline. If you're running outside, of course you could find a new route to run, but you can't really measure out the gradient that you're running on. So speed, time. There are other variables, but let's focus on these 2. Most people are crunched for time, which means time is out the window. Yes, you of course could just walk longer at the exact same pace. And while that will stimulate some results early on, unfortunately it puts you in this nasty little circle where you're just gonna keep doing more and more time until you're doing cardio for 8 hours a day. Or we change the speed. As you saw in the other 2 examples, you could just move a little bit faster. If you're currently doing 1 mile in 30 minutes, what if you try to do 1.1 miles in 30 minutes? You're not massively increasing the time. If you're on a stair climber, what if you try to do 1 or 2 more floors in that 30 minutes? If you try and reach just a little bit farther, everything will keep changing. The second that you stop trying to push yourself is when we stop adapting. And that's anything in life. And lastly, one of the other reasons why your cardio becomes less efficient over time is you lost weight. If you started doing cardio at the beginning of the year and you weighed 150 pounds and you were walking 30 minutes every day at the exact same speed and you gradually lost weight, the amount of work that you were doing, the amount of effort that you were putting out gradually decreased. So your weight loss is actually part of the reason why you're burning less calories over the time that you're doing cardio. Now, how do you combat that? Well, that's back to the first 2 options I gave you. So when you're looking at your cardio options, it doesn't have to be long, slow distance cardio. That one article that you read 20 years ago that tells you that you should be doing long, slow distance cardio, if that really worked, the obesity crisis would be over.